Hello, and welcome back to What's Happening to My Body. Over the past few episodes, we talked about fatigue, stress load, cravings, body composition changes, and gut shifts during perimenopause. And today, we're having a little bit of a conversation that can feel a little noisy online. And we're about to talk about supplements, hormone testing, and the promise of quick fixes, which we know very well. Now, because if you've spent any time scrolling on social media or Google looking for answers, you've probably been told you need a long list of powders, expensive testing, or very specific protocols to fix your hormones. And while some of those tools absolutely have their place, and obviously there's a lot of confusion, oversimplification, and honestly, marketing dressed up as health advice. So today we want to help you separate what's genuinely helpful from what we might think is the actual hype.
This episode isn't about fear mongering or telling you supplements are bad. We both use supplements clinically when they're appropriate. But what we see far too often is women spending hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars chasing solutions that don't actually address what their body needs most. And that can leave you feeling more confused, more frustrated, and further away from real progress. So before we talk about what works and what doesn't. It's important to acknowledge why quick fixes are so tempting. When you've been feeling off in your body for months or years, and you're tired, inflamed, bloated, not sleeping well, or gaining weight, of course, you want something that promises relief. And the wellness industry is very good at packaging hope. You will see phrases like balance your hormones fast, heal your gut in 30 days, or this one supplement fixes everything. And when you're exhausted and overwhelmed, that messaging can feel incredibly compelling.
100%. So this is exactly why we want to talk about this today. So the problem is that the body, especially during perimenopause, rarely responds to one single isolated quick fix. Now, what we're usually dealing with is a system issue. So, stress load, sleep quality, nutrition adequacy, nervous system regulation, gut function, and hormonal fluctuation are all interacting together at the same time. And no single pill or capsule can override chronic underfueling, high stress, poor sleep, and years of psychological load. So, that doesn't mean supplements are useless. It just means context matters so much more. Now, there are supplements with evidence behind them for certain situations. For example, magnesium can support sleep and nervous system regulation in some individuals. Now, the other one that is very widely used is creatine, which has a strong evidence for muscle maintenance, cognitive support, and metabolic health in women. Then you have omega-3 fatty acids, which can support inflammatory balance and cardiovascular health. Also, targeted nutrients like iron, vitamin B, or vitamin D, which can be very helpful when a deficiency is present. But where we start to see the problem is when supplements are used as a replacement for foundations for health behaviors, or when protocols become extremely complex without clear clinical reasoning.
Yeah, and another red flag is when the messaging implies that everyone needs the same stack, because bio individuality really matters. What one woman benefits from, another may not need at all, and more is not always better. In fact, in clinical practice, we often see women taking large numbers of supplements without clear improvement, sometimes even with new digestive symptoms or overwhelmed from the routine itself. What's usually missing is another capsule. It's isn't sorry another capsule, of course, but it's support around the basics. And this is the reason why I want to talk. about where supplements actually do fit into a supportive way. Think of supplements as exactly that, supplemental. They are there to fill gaps, support specific pathways, or assist during periods of increased need. They're not the foundation of hormonal or metabolic health.
Well said. And, this is like so, so common to see. So it's very important to understand that in perimenopause, especially, supplements can be helpful when they are one, targeted as a clear need or symptom pattern. Two, based on either testing or a strong clinical picture. Number three, used along adequate nutrition, sleep, and stress support. For example, if someone has confirmed low iron, supplementing iron makes sense. If sleep is poor, magnesium intake is low, magnesium can be supportive. If protein intake is insufficient, then a protein powder can be a practical tool to use. But layering multiple hormonal supplements without addressing the lifestyle often leads to a lot of disappointment.
And emotionally, that disappointment can hit hard because it
Yeah.
reinforces the feeling that your body is difficult or not responding, when often the body is simply under supported at a foundation level.
Yes, 100%. And hormone testing is another area where we see a lot of confusion. And the honest answer is sometimes is useful and sometimes doesn't change management very much. What I mean with that is in perimenopause, hormones fluctuate significantly from day to day and month to month. This means that a single snapshot of that test may not fully reflect what's actually clinically happening to your body. Now, this is one reason that many women are told their blood work is normal, despite having very real symptoms. But that doesn't mean testing is pointless. It just means interpretation of them matters. Now, testing can be particularly useful when we're screening for thyroid dysfunction, iron deficiency, B12 status, vitamin D levels, blood glucose regulation, or lipid changes. This gives us very good actionable information.
And where we tend to be more cautious is when testing is heavily marketed as the one missing piece for everyone, especially when expensive panels are sold with the promise that they will finally explain everything. Sometimes they add clarity, but sometimes they add more noise. Add good clinical care always consider symptoms, history, lifestyle, and context alongside any lab work. There are absolutely times where medical support is important and appropriate. You should consider speaking with your GP specialist if you are experiencing persisting or severe fatigue, unexplained weight changes, significant menstrual changes, ongoing digestive symptoms, sleep disruption that isn't improving, or any symptoms that feel new, severe, or concerning. Perimenopause is common, but we still want to rule out other medical contributors when appropriate.
Yeah, and this is when collaborative care is so valuable. Nutrition, lifestyle support, and medical care are not competing approaches. They're actually working best together. So it's very important that you have different specialists working towards your health. And if there's one theme that runs through everything we see clinically, is this: the basics carries the most power. Adequate fueling, sufficient protein, consistent sleep opportunity, stress load awareness, strength training, regular meals. These are not very flashy things and they don't really sell that well on social media, probably, but physiologically, they move the needle the most.
Yeah, 100%. And sometimes this can feel almost disappointing to hear because quick fixes feel more exciting than consistency, but your
Yeah.
body is not looking for the most extreme solution. It's looking for safety, stability, and support over time. And when those foundations are in place, that's when targeted tools, including supplements, tend to work much better. And I want to tell you guys again, like lab work, it's very important, but it's not the whole piece of the puzzle. You have to check your habits, your overall health, and you have to check to all the results in your blood work, because not a single result will give you a single answer. It's always just a piece of the entire puzzle. Okay. And it's important to discuss this with your coach, with your nutritionist, with your doctor, and be very open to all the suggestions they can have, and be very open to the fact that sometimes you just need to stick to the basic, and maybe to rewrite and practice again the basics. Okay. So if today's episode helped cut through some of the noise you've been seeing online, we are really glad you're here. And you don't need to do everything. You don't need a 15-step protocol. And you definitely don't need to panic by supplement at 10 p.m. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well said. And it is important to, be aware of your health and be knowledgeable around your health. And we really hope these episodes are really helping to bring a little bit of light around what your health needs. Now, in the next episode, we'll talk about your relationship with food, healing while working on your health. This is a very, very exciting episode because a lot of people do struggle with their relationship with
Yeah.
food. Now, make sure to follow the podcast so you don't miss it. You can follow us on Spotify or YouTube, as well as follow us on our Instagram, which is at NutriFit Project. And if this episode has helped you feel a little bit more grounded and clear, or it could help someone, just make sure to share with someone that you can have a little talk with. Now, thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.